So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at ultrasonic cleaners and what they like to use on bike parts, and also how you use one, how they do it, how much they cost, and if there are any downsides to using one. So how it works is basically you have a tank of fluid, and underneath are what are called ultrasonic transducers. It's a posh word for ultrasonic speakers. And what they do is they fire ultrasonic sound into the fluid, and they vibrate the fluid, and they vibrate the components that are inside, and that basically cleans the components. Okay, so that's how it works. Now they come in various sizes. This one is a 3 litre. Now, in my opinion, this is the smallest you can go, because you see them for like jewelry and stuff like that, and various other things to clean anything that's small and awkward. Car parts, carburetors, everything down to spectacles and dentures and all sorts. So this, as I say, this is a 3 litre, and this, in my opinion, is the smallest one you can technically use for bike parts. I'll show you why in a sec. Yet you can get them cheaper in like a plastic version that's 1 litre or 1.2 litres, but from my experience, I think you're really going to struggle cleaning components with such a small device. I'd always say if you can afford bigger and accommodate a bigger machine, then buy a bigger machine. As I say, this is the 3 litre one. It goes from here, it goes, I think it's like 6 litres and 9 litres. And the bigger machines, they can have like taps on the side to drain them, so it's a lot easier than carrying it out and pouring it out. So yeah, this is 3 litre. Don't really want to go any smaller. If you can, go bigger. So build quality, this one I've had for about a year, and I must admit the build quality is absolutely fantastic on it. It's a full stainless steel body. Okay, it's got like an IEC hot condition power cable going into it, and yeah, really easy to wipe clean and bolted together very well indeed. So where can you buy them? Your best bet for one of these is going to be Amazon or eBay. And a machine like this, currently, they're a bit higher than they normally are. I've had this one for just over a year, maybe a year and a half. And this was £60 when I bought it. I'll show you a screenshot taken from eBay or Amazon. And currently, they're more in the £90 region. Okay, so how do you use one? Okay, so what you do, so first of all, what it does is not only does it do the ultrasonic thing, but what it also does is it has a kettle underneath that warms the water. Okay, now top tip number 1, don't just tip cold water into it, because it will take forever to warm it up. Your best bet is to get some hot water from the tap and put it in a bottle and decant it into the machine. Okay, so that's what I've done with this machine, and it's currently, its target is 60C and it's currently at 54. Okay, so some people, how they do it is they use a pre-mixed cleaning agent. Some people use just water. I personally use water with a cleaning agent additive. Now this is a citrus based cleaner called Viro-sol. I've been using this for absolutely years. It's a fantastic product. I should probably do a video on it separately, it's that good. I'll put a link for this in the description below. You can expect to pay about £14 for this 5 litre tub. Okay, now how much do you need? Not a lot. So here is my little tub that I always use. Excuse all the grease all over it. And basically I just get roughly that much and tip it in the water. And you'll now watch that water temperature will start going down. So, and it's as simple as that. Okay, you go. So what we'll do now is we will now have a go at cleaning a bike component with it. And the simplest and quickest and easiest thing to clean is a bike chain. So when you buy the machine, you get the machine itself, lid, as I say, IEC power cable, and your little tray. Looks like you can cook chips in this thing, doesn't it? So what I always recommend when putting anything in, think about how the muck is going to run off of it. So what you'll see, if you look at this chain, what I've done is I've purposely laid it in the tray so it's upright, so the links are upright, so that when it then goes through the cleaner, it will then run off. If things are flat inside it, then it will struggle to clean. Now, as I was saying earlier about the size, so yes, you get that much tank, but that's actually what you're working with. So it's not a massive amount of space. So if you were to look at a cassette, for example, this being a Shimano 32, you will see that it's a close fit. And the problem that you've got is because it's wedged into the cage like that, you're sort of removing the ultrasonic properties, as it were. It doesn't do such a good job because it doesn't resonate so well because it's wedged into the cage. So yeah, that's a 32. So 28 or 30 will go in better. But yeah, so that gives you that sort of puts a bit more weight behind my point about 3 litres is the minimum that you can go to. Okay, so you've got your temperature. Okay, this is your target. This is what it's currently at. And then you've got a timer, okay? So this is basically the timer for the ultrasonic cleaner for it to run. Now, what I tend to do is I tend to, instead of running it for 10 minutes, I tend to run it for 5 minutes, take the stuff out, agitate it a bit, and then give it another 5 minutes. You tend to get a better clean that way, okay? So what we'll do is we'll start it up and we'll take the camera down and you can see what goes on. So let's just, so the timer, we'll leave it on 5 minutes and we'll fire it up. So this is going to be quite noisy and loud, apologies beforehand. And then we'll drop the chain in and then we'll stop the video and then we'll start it again and have a look at how the chains come out. Straight away you can see it starting to clean, starting to cloud up. So we'll drop that in there. Okay. And while that's doing that, I'll show you a picture. I took a few photographs of that chain and we'll have a look at it, see what it looks like a bit close up before it went into that water. But as you can see straight away, it's already starting to do the job. Okay. So let's put you back on your stand. We'll pause the video and then we'll put you up in a second. Well, 5 minutes. Okay, so that's 5 minutes in the machine. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll take the chain out, and what I tend to do is have a look at it. If I'm being totally honest, the chain that's gone in there wasn't ridiculously dirty, if I'm honest. So let's turn the machine off and let's give it a clean. Okay, so we'll bring the camera down so you can have a proper close look at it. But as you can see, that is pretty clean. Okay, so let's just take that out of there, put it on some cloth, just give it a dry out, and then I'll bring the camera down and we'll have a closer look at it. So as I say, that was 5 minutes in the cleaner, and it looks like, to be honest with you, it's not going to need any more than 5 minutes. So let's just move that out of the way a bit. Let's bring the camera down so you can have a look at the result of that. So this particular chain is a Dura Ace chain. So that means it's got the hollow pins, and as you can see, it's got it completely clean within 5 minutes, and the pins are all cleaned through. Oh, or maybe that one isn't. Or is it just a bit of water. No, I think it's a bit of water in there. So as you can see, that is an immaculate chain. Okay. Okay, so that chain is now ready for oiling. So what I'll do with that is I will lay it out on the bench and individually oil each of the rollers, and then I'll put it into a little plastic bag and just let it soak up its oil, and then I'll put that back on the bike tomorrow. Okay, so other points of discussion are the downsides to it, or what some people say are the downsides. So this chain, for example, this is now so clean that people would say that it's too clean and you'll never get the oil back into it the way it was. You know, there's some people agree with that, some people don't. You know, some people say you just oil the rollers and it'll be absolutely fine. It's interesting that pretty much this machine is the machine that Muck-Off is now marketing. So it'll be interesting to hear their opinion on that. But yeah, so yeah, some say it's too clean and you'll never get the oil back in. Okay, but there are more important things to worry about than that. Okay, so this, for example, this cassette here. Anyone that's familiar with Shimano cassettes knows that the vast majority of Shimano cassettes, the spider on the back is made of aluminium, and that spider should be black. Now, this particular cassette's been through this machine a few times, and as you can see, it has literally stripped the paint off and it's now down to its alloy. Okay, I've got a photograph that I'll share that shows a Shimano chainring from a crank where it went through one of these cleaners for a few minutes, and it's not lost its paint, but it's now gone very, very dull. And to be honest with you, it's a chain ring. It didn't really need putting through it. You can just clean it with a scrubbing brush and a bit of degreaser. So that was a mistake. I've got another photograph that you should be seeing on your screen now, where what this is a Shimano 105 5800 rear brake caliper with the dual pivot and the rollers, and the rollers can get gunked up sometimes and they stick, and it causes it to be twitchy and sticky. The brake calipers stick closed or stick open. So I was lazy and I took the brake pads off it and I threw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and it only went in there for 5 minutes and it came out. It went in black and it came out silver. This thing literally stripped the paint off it. So you do need to be careful. You can't put everything in it, and it's not a lazy person's solution to bike cleaning. However, in my opinion, this is me personally, but I would be interested to hear what anyone else has to say. Please feel free to comment. For me, I use it to clean components that are bare metal are supposed to be bare metal and are dirty, and you can't clean them in a traditional way. A chain is a fine example of it because you'll never get it as clean as you do doing it this way. But other things, a cheap cassette, I'm not really overly fussed whether it strips the paint off it. But I wouldn't put anything else in there. I'd be very, very careful putting anything painted in there or anything very expensive. For example, I wouldn't put a Dura Ace cassette in there because of the metals it's made from. I don't know what effect it would have on the titanium, whether it would come out a funny colour or whether it would tarnish it in any way. So yeah, there are some people that aren't fans of them and say that you can cause a lot of damage. Other uses for them, you see people waxing chains with them. So what you can do is, after you've gone through this process of cleaning, you can empty the machine out, give it a clean, and then you can put some chain wax in there and fire it up to maximum temperature and melt that, and then use the ultrasonic to push the wax into a chain and wax a chain for you. Or you can do exactly the same thing, but instead of using wax, use oil, where you can put oil in the bottom of the machine and push the oil back into the chain through the ultrasonic process. This is, as I was saying, the same as Muck-Off is using. So Muck-Off, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen, you have the two machines. You have the cleaning machine and then the oiling machine. It's just basically two of these machines. So there you go. So that gives you hopefully a bit of information about the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll leave it up to yourself to make your own choices. But yeah, anyone got any experience in these machines, I'd be interested in your comments on it to see how you've got on with it. And I'd also be interested to have any comments from anyone that's used it to either directly push oil back into a chain or directly push wax into a chain.